we were coming down from William Street when when the young fellas started to try and get through the barricades, and I heard one shot, and it seemed to come from the church and with James's Street, I think. And then another couple of shots, and naturally everybody started to run. And I only had to run across my mother's, you know, the whisk ground under my mother's, and they were carrying in Mr. Johnson then, and the wee boy Donaghy was already in there, and there was Dr. McLean, he was attending him. Well, Mr. Johnson died then later on.
I'm sure that the last person that Hugh Gilmore spoke to was me. Because at that time I come up, Dano was still at the barricade, and I was standing at the Flats entrance when all hell broke loose. And he says, I'm hit, Don, I'm hit.
And I remember Jackie Duddy coming through the flats. There were two soldiers. They had stopped at Pilot's Row. No, it was Pilot's Row now, but there were no Pilot's Row then. They stopped there, right? The Saracens, or whatever you call them, the pigs or whatever they were, stopped there. But these two soldiers seemed to be on their own, you know. Down at the entrance of the flats where Pilot's Row was, you know, down there, away, right? One was a black man and the other one was a white man. The white man was on his one knee and the black man was standing, and he had his gun sitting on his hip like this, and he was just wriggling. And I always maintain it was one of them soldiers, or if not the two of them, shot me at Jackie Duddy, because Jackie Duddy had nothing in his hands. He had his hands up like this. He actually didn't realise, I don't think, that it was live rounds, because he was doing this, and that's where he was shot. And I always maintain it was one of them two soldiers.
So all you gentle people who live in garden place, in Uriah and in Dun, at last you won your case. I'm sure you all remember, as I remember yet, that our days in Rollo Flats we won't forget.
Some of the stories you heard about Dickie used to have this big Alsatian. We mentioned Paisley, the dog used to go mad, like, you know, really mental, you know. But I think that the best pictures I've ever seen of Dickie was coming from the old bomb sites with a shopping trolley, had full of stuff, like, you know what I mean. He used to salvage some stuff, and when he got it home, he cleaned it up, and it looked the best of stuff, like then, like, you know.
You looked out the window, and Dickie was coming through Butcher Gate with an overmantle, but it took 6 men to carry it. And I used to keep watching him if it come through, and I'd say, well, where is he putting it on? Because Dickie only had a 2-bedroom flat on the 8th floor.
Dickie always loved his hair jet black. He put black bit polish on his hair. And he was lovely looking going out that day. But coming back, it started raining, and we were covered with the rain, so we could have stayed out in the rain. So there comes Dickie whistling over and the black bit popped down his face, and he didn't even care.
I went on, Aunt Dickie, here's Dickie, this grand TV sitting, and I says, dear, what's that? And he opened it up. This is my cocktail cabinet.
There used to be TVs.
These
were swanky TVs.
You opened them up.
And you closed them.
But Dickie, the first technique, had all tinfoil. And
all
all
his
sherries and
sherries,
all sitting there. That was Dickie's cocktail cabinet. He took me in his bedroom. I'll not forget. Secretary, and he saw my mother, Jesus, Mary Joseph Dickie. Many mattresses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dickie ladder for his 8 mattresses.
Bug bed, he called it.
I was sitting top of the ceiling. He was nearly up at the ceiling. He had 8 mattresses. And then he took me in the cloakroom. The uncle was lying in the cloakroom. I says, Jesus, Dickie, he's smaller. No, he'd be crying. I closed the door on him.
So all you gentle people who lived in garden place, in Uriah and in Dun, at last you won your case. I'm sure you all remember, as I remember yet, that our days in
And I'm standing, and all I could see was this thing coming out, and I was making gee. I says, this is a rat, you know. And I says, I'm standing up against the corner of the door, and as if the lift was taking for ages, you know, to go up to the 5th floor. And I said, no, I'll be end up feeding this rat that's here. And I was really terrified, you know. It must have been the smell of, you know, the chips or whatever, you know. But it just kept coming out and going back in again, you know. And the lift door's open, and I slid with the door opening, you know.
We were put on them flats, and them flats was like a barrack. There was no heating. Only one room was gas central heating. You had no facilities for children. And most of the people on there all had babies. 2 or 3 babies under 3 or 4. No way drying nappies. No way drying any clothes at all. No facilities for the children to play.
I remember one day Keith Finlay, she got onto the lift, and what did the lift do? It didn't stop at the 5th floor, but straight on to 8. But he got out there and couldn't get back in because the lift, it must be just a fault in the lift. You know, it didn't go back up to 8 again, and everything was meshed off and everything. And I remember the fire brigade having to come down and put the big ladder up onto the 8th floor to bring him down. I remember us all standing at the balcony and we were in stitches laughing at him getting taken down with the fire brigade.
The mayor then was Craig, and he came up and my flat was soaking. And that was front page news. Me and one of my wains. No, he was the first Protestant mayor ever to come to the flats.
And the headlines was, he says that day, he says, I wouldn't wear pigs on it.
Was running down, I'd moved my bed into the sitting room, and it was just as bad. Mind the man came to fix the heating. He told me not to turn it on because it was a hazard, fire hazard. You mind that? I was telling you. The water was coming in the hot place and was run by gas or something. And he says, don't be turning on your heating when it's raining. I brought that up in the Guildhall, do you mind? Right. And he just looked at me.
And everybody that lived in the Rosal Flats told him this was throwing good money away and it wouldn't work, you know. And you know, they eventually, you know, I think they tried everything, and in fairness to them, they tried everything to make them, you know, people could live in comfort, but it wasn't going to work. They were just badly designed, and at that stage, anyway, you know, people had in their mind they wanted them demolished and they wanted houses, and you know that. But all the money they spent never cured the problem.
Was it just chance or was it destiny that out of the whole world we happened to be brought up in this most pleasant locality? It's so easy to tell that I sing of the bogside, so peaceful and quiet. The very last thing you'd find here is a riot. They say that Phil Coulter's intending to buy it. He loves it so well. He loves it so well. Phil loves it so well. You may travel worldwide, but it can't be denied. No place like the bogside. I like the bogside. And we just love the Anglian regiment. They're so eager to be our friends. They visit us all ours. They must be supermen to do it. I always knew it. Must be all them special parts. Surround the estate, and the walls and the gables are highly ornate. Architects architecturally speaking, the flats are just great. They contribute that slight extra touch. Whoever designed them should have been arrested, locked up in some place equally rat infested. They're noisy and damp, but you'd never have guessed it. The residents love them so much. They love them so much. They love them so much. You may travel worldwide, but it can't be denied. No place like the Bogside. I like the Bogside.